allow the audio turn back on.
Let me call and see if Joseph is. Yeah, Sam said he couldn't.
Test 1 2 1 2. Okay.
Before we actually, before we actually get started and we go into the notice of the workshop, if everybody can please stand, we'll go ahead and do the pledge of allegiance. Real quick. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. All right. Well, thank you for attending. I appreciate everybody here for us to be able to take the time and take a little bit of opportunity to look at areas that we're probably going to be making some decisions in the future, but not tonight, but for us to get educated and talk about some of the things. So tonight, excuse me, the notice of workshop, the City Council of City of Lytle, Texas, is holding a workshop today, Tuesday, August the 30th, 2022, here at Lytle City Hall. And the purpose of this workshop is to discuss the utility and the inspection rates. So I will go ahead and turn it over to Matt and our city administrator. Go ahead and brief for the council.
So we're going to cover a quick PowerPoint here on that I put together. So first, we're going to talk about the summary results on what I've kind of come up with. So this is a guide of where we've been and where I anticipate we're going to go. So if you look, we haven't had much of a change. In 2018, I'm going to talk about the water real quick. We were at $11. 2019, 20, and 21, we've been at $12. Although there's been extra cost associated, we've never increased our rates. We've just continued to take a slight loss. I'm going to say a slight loss. We just haven't tried to stay ahead of the curve more than anything. And you can see that there with the sewer as well, the garbage, not the garbage, the gas bill, and then the total. So we haven't had a whole lot of change from 18 to 19. There was a total of $3 change in that time frame. So moving forward into 2022, I'm proposing, and when I was looking at these rates, a water rate. Now I'm talking about base rates. This is based on a 3,000 gallon per month home. So it's all of our bases. I'm not trying to add on anything else. We just get a standard base. Water bill, I'm looking at taking that to $20. For the sewer customer, if they stayed at the 3,000 gallons, their base rate would be at 20, and then you have to add in the 50 cents per thousand. So that would take their rate to $21.50. That is the majority of our city right there. That's what their bill would go to. It would go to $41.50. Now, if you had to add in gas is the tricky one, where in the water and sewer department, we're able to share their cost and keep it low because we have a lot of customers. We don't have that in the gas system. The gas system doesn't have a whole lot of customers, so we're not able to share that cost. So their rates, unfortunately, get a little higher, you'll see later on, than what some around us are. But still in the ballpark for sure. So you're going to see a change. If we total those bills up, if you had gas, water, and sewer, your bill would go up $15 a month is what we're looking at. It's a 21.42% increase. Sounds like a lot, but again, we've we've not had an increase in the last 3 years. So that's why we're looking at this.
So Matt, going back to the other one, just because you mentioned in the sewer, but for clarification, the water, pretty much the majority of our customers. I'm sorry. So going back to the water bill, the majority of our customers are in that would be in that $20 or $12 right now range.
Yeah, I could talk to Virginia, but I think a majority of our customers are. That's what I pulled out here on this. It's hard to break down when we do the billing. It's a little harder to break that down in our
because you
software.
got to add the
but it
trash and all.
Yeah. But I would say the majority of our customers are probably in that base. But we have several that kick us into that tier system. Yeah. So we don't the city doesn't make a lot of money off the base. We make the money off the tier system because we're charging you more because you're using more consumption than the average, person. That's where the city really makes their money. So and you'll see here in a minute, what I'm proposing is that we do a slight adjustment to the base and a slight adjustment to the tier. And overall, that's going to bring us up to where we need to be able to cover the charges we're going to have coming in next year and then hopefully for years after that. Right. And then we can do, slight adjustments after that based on a rate analysis survey being done. So here's my proposed water system plan. The minimum is 0 to 3,000 gallons. The way it works is we have in-town rates. So if you live within the incorporated city limits of Lytle, you're considered in town. If you're outside of our city limits and connected to our system, you're considered an out-of-town rate, and that is 1.5 times what our in-town rates are. So I'm proposing we take the in-town rates to $20 for the base, the minimum. That would raise the out-of-town to $30. And then from there, it's a 20% increase in the tier system all the way down. So that's what we're looking at. So 3,000 to 10,000 would go to $1.80, 1,000, and so forth, all the way down the chart there. The most being, if you're pumping over 100,000 gallons in a month, you're going to pay the base of $20 plus $12 per 1,000 over the 3,000 you used. So I would imagine I don't know how many we have in that 100,000 mark, but that's going to be your bigger locations are going to be in that tier system, your HEBs, probably your car washes, stuff like that. That's where you're going to have a lot of those bigger items. So that would be my proposal for the water system. On the sewer system, same thing, base rate of 20. I kept that standard across the board, and I'll show you here in a minute why we did that. It's still going to be lower than our average and what the surveys have shown around us. So the base rate of 20 plus the 60 cents per 1,000 gallons of water for the first 3,000 gallons. That is where the majority of our customers are going to be right there. And again, we showed you what that was going to be. After that, it's a 20% increase per 1,000 gallon. However, keep in mind that our sewer rates are determined right there at the bottom. It says we take the months of December, January, and February, and we average those, and that's how we determine your sewer rate for the entire year. So you could get away with, I guess, in some months pumping a lot of water. You're going to pay us more for water, but your sewer rate is always going to stay steady across the board because we use that as an average. Going into our gas system, this is where this one gets a little tricky because, like I said, we can't share that cost amongst the number of customers. For the first 1,000 cubic feet, a minimum of $20, and thereafter it's $9.60 per 1,000 cubic feet. So how do we compare to places around us? If you look at Castroville, their base is 30, and I'm talking about just the base. I'm not talking about a tier system or anything else, just that first 3,000 gallons. In Castroville, the water is 30, the sewer's at 30, and the gas system's at 16. When you get to Divine, they're at 38.14. The sewer's at 23.57. Their gas system is run through West Texas Gas. They're at $17.74. In Hondo, they're at 32.47. The sewer's at 27.06. I couldn't find information for CenterPoint Energy on what their rates were. It was kind of hard on their website to track it. Getting to Natalia, their water rate is 26.27. The sewer rate is 21.88. And then gas is through West Texas again, and that's at 17.74. Currently, you can see where we're at. We're at 12, 18, and 18. Even if we took all those to 20, you're going to see, other than the gas, we're right in line and below where everybody else is. So that should tell you right there we're already too low on our rates. In 2018, there was a previous rate study done by the Texas Rural Water Association. We are now members of them. I plan in 2023 to call them in and do a whole study all over again. That way we can look at those rates again. They can come and give a presentation, and we can determine what we want to do moving forward in the budget after this, the 23-24 budget, because that's where we're going to have to make. I don't want to make 2 adjustments in 1 year. That would be uncalled for. A small rate adjustment where we're at now will make our budget work. But in that 2018 utility rate study, their minimum rate was between 33 and 38.29.
Yeah.
So imagine if we had gone to where they thought we need to be, we'd had outrage. I remember being here when they talked about that, and they said you should do this in a tiered system, and we should go up a little bit every single year. The first year, and the only time we've ever increased rates that I can find, it's always been $1.
Mm-hmm.
$1. I agree. We don't want to hurt our customers, but we also cannot give our commodity away. We have to have enough and generate enough revenue to cover our expenses and to continue to provide that service our customers are accustomed to, and increase our infrastructure and continue to maintenance it. So that's the reason for increasing the rates. Any questions on water, sewer, or gas rates? Kind of a quick course there.
So, question, Matt. I noticed on there it said from 0. Are we going to implement? Are we thinking about implementing a basic water? Everybody pays the flat 20, even though they haven't used any water.
Yes. So across the board, it would be and we can do this when we go to ordinance. We are no longer going to have the stagnant unbilled accounts. If you have a water meter, you're going to get a bill. Yep. You would be $20 if you didn't flow a gallon of water through it. If you don't want that bill, call us and we'll have that meter removed. But if you have a meter in our ground, it is a cost to us to have to go out there, read that meter, bring that reading back here into the office for them to verify that data to make sure somebody didn't write a number down wrong, enter that into the computer just to say, okay, we don't want to bill that. We got to be able to cover that.
It's
cost.
A significant number.
Yeah, there was quite a few when we looked at. I can get you those numbers again, but it was quite a few. I am not building this budget, and we did not do these numbers based off those. I would assume we'll lose probably 50% of those. But if they all take them out, our budget still works. We're building off of what is known, not an unknown.
So
yes,
currently the user pays for what they've used, right?
Yes.
As far as water.
Up to a certain level. So I think you're going to cap it at 3,000 gallons?
No. Our tier system stays the same. If you come here to our water system, it's all based off
No,
of
but
1,000
my
gallons.
question is, when I get my bill, it can be, let's say we have this $20.
Mhm.
Will my bill be able to be less than $20 for
No.
water?
No, it's capped.
From
We
zero.
we currently do have where our bill can be less. I guess the question I'm asking, our current billing system for the water and the water only, we're only billed for what we use. True
You're
or
billed
false?
a base, and it's at
12.
right now $12.
Oh, so that it is a flat.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
a flat rate.
Obviously, I don't pay attention to
If you
my.
use 0 to 3,000 gallons, you're going to get a bill from us for $12 for water.
So it'll never be less than.
It'll never be less than 20. No, sir.
Well, yeah, for the projected. So the person that's conscious of what they use, they're water conservative, they're tree huggers, they don't want to use the water, they're going to still get $20.
Yes, sir. That's how most of your water rate studies are done on a 5,000 gallon scale.
Now,
We're using a 3,000 gallon scale. So some cities use 5,000 as their minimum.
what about gas?
The gas system is based off of 1 to 1,000 gallon, 1 to 1,000 cubic feet minimum is $2,000 or $20, and thereafter every 1,000 is $9.60.
So that also is base?
Yeah, all of them have a base. Yes, sir. All
How
utility
do I
rates have a
not
base.
know that? How do I not know that? I mean, I pay my
Yeah.
bill. I mean, obviously, I'm using more than the base. Obviously, if my bill fluctuates, right? But how is it that I did not realize that we have a base?
I don't know. That's every
Probably-
utility.
Probably because it's so low, you never got there.
Okay,
You never thought
It
what?
was $12. You
Yeah.
probably never got to that level.
Right.
Yeah, you probably never
Yeah.
thought. Yeah,
Okay.
it was so
That
cheap
makes
you never
sense.
thought about it.
And then add that you're also paying a fee for your waste management on there. So you're gonna subtract that too. So yeah.
So yeah, when you
if
get
I'm
your
an,
utility
if I'm
bill,
an average user and I never see the base because I'm always above it, what I'm going to see the difference is the increase. The
So-
increase per
well, you would
unit.
see an increase even if you're a base user.
Can you
But-
go to the total?
Is that the one?
No, go forward. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. The one that you had the total.
For each city, the comparisons.
Where was the total where you came up with the averages? What was it?
That one. So that's how
Yes,
we've been
that one.
billing.
That one.
That's
Yes.
based on 3,000 gallons per month, our base.
So the average person in right now would pay $62.50 on there. The new
Right.
proposed one, it would be 77. But I do want to put a special caveat: the $36 for gas on there. It is the number of gas users we have in the community. It is significantly low.
It is less than half of what we have in our water system.
Right.
That's the issue with the gas system. It is, and I can tell you in negotiations with CPS Energy on our O&M for our gas system, their initial amount to do it for us to be our O&M operator, if they would have stuck to that number, we would have had an extreme deficit in our gas system. Would have had to figure out what to do. Luckily, they brought that number way down, and we were able to make it work if we move forward with our rates. If
But
we
based
don't, we'll have
on-
to make budget amendments.
But based on what I use today, and with this increase, I should see a 21% increase on my bill.
If you have water, sewer, and gas,
Right.
yes. If you have all three, yes,
Okay.
on your base.
So on the table, if you go forward 3 slides where you get the comparison by cities, on this table, the only thing I see missing is the cost per unit to the city.
That's
So-
the basis.
What I'm getting at is that if Castroville, if Divine is the highest for water, is it possible that Divine water costs more to the city than it does for Lido?
So one thing that's not being factored in, which I'm working on right now, is what we call overhead and burden, which I'm sure you know what that is.
Right.
Our O&B cost right now is running 68%. So every time James walks out that door to a client, we have to tap on 68% O&B to be able to function. Okay. So I just got those numbers today, running through some stuff for last year. So every time they touch that line out there, we tack on 68% more of overhead and burden to be able to even do that. So
Right.
we always have to take into effect how the line runs, because we're not seeing their O&B rates. Castroville, they're going to be completely different than Divine. They're going to be absolutely different than us, just based upon the overhead in the office.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. When you look at this table, you're doing a rate comparison, you've got to take that in consideration as
Yeah.
well. So if we're looking at 21% across these 3 items, what's your end goal? I mean, are we talking about this every year, 21% every year? Where are we heading towards?
So we'll know more once we get an official rate study done. But based off of what we had before,
For this
we're still,
budget, you would like to go up to 21%.
I think we need to go to 20. I can almost guarantee you that when we get that rate study done, they're going to tell you your water rates need to be closer in line to where everybody else is, $30 to $40 at a minimum
In
for the 3 for the
2018, that's
minimums.
what they told us.
Right.
So I'm not saying we have to do it. I'm hoping my end goal is we can get this adopted and move forward. And then as we get new customers on, as we continue to grow, that maybe we don't get much above the 20 to 25 range for a base. I would love to see that. It would also, if the council wants, it would also be my proposition that we can look at the, is it 60 or 65 and over we do for the 65 and over. We have people, if you come in and you fill out the form, you get the extra time to pay your bill. We can look at that and see how that would affect us. I don't think it will, but we can do that as a freeze. Maybe we can freeze them, the 65 and over if you qualify, and there's that hardship or whatever it is, we can freeze you at the 20 rate. So the next increase doesn't affect them. we can look at that, because I know that was some of the issues we've had from other councilmen is how do we help those on fixed incomes?
So-
I understand we can work on it, but
So with that in mind, the ARP funds, can ARP funds be used to help subsidize people on fixed income to pay their bills?
I don't believe so. I think it's just used for infrastructure. The
Infrastructure
CARES
only?
Act was used for that, and that money's been depleted.
Okay.
The ARP is just for infrastructure.
Okay, because San Antonio has the REAP system, Residential Energy Assistance Program. And I don't know how that gets funded. I would like to find out how that gets funded. I don't know if it's through the budget.
I'm
Or-
sure it's through the budget, unless they've got some grant funds coming in somewhere else. You got to remember, so they've got a ton of people out getting every penny they can get, and they got the people out there making sure
Right.
it gets steered that way. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
some,
with the
interesting.
$3 billion budget, I mean, I know they can
Yeah.
afford to add these programs in there. But I'm wondering, because we're talking about just basically extending or not turning off people that are having trouble paying their bills. But is it possible at some point we could even look into a system like that where we could have assistance?
We've
So-
already talked about it.
Turn use your mic on?
oh,
Thank you.
We've already talked about that, about capping, not where it doesn't go over that 24 qualified people, just
Right.
like San Antonio did. I know exactly what you're talking about. I read the budget front to back. So we are talking about doing that, but right now we have to get it at a bare minimum. We're at least covering administrative charges to be able to run the sewer, water, or what we call the business side of it. So.
Yeah, and I'm looking ahead at, in the future, because I would like to see something like that. And obviously, the more citizens we have, the higher the population, the more opportunity we'll have to include that.
exactly. As we move
But
forward, we
that may
continue to
not
look.
be neither here or there for right now, but
But I know
it's,
when
it's something to look for, look
So-
at in the future.
so we are, so Matt and I have had some discussions, and I reached out to a few folks. So one of the things that we want to bring into the city, and we've talked about using our community center and our senior center for a place like right now we host a WIC, to help the young mothers in the programs. There's programs out there that are through ACOG, where they have the grant money to be able to help out with that. We also have the people that are in Hondo and Jordanton. It's a community action group partnership where they help out residents with utility assistance, rental assistance, stuff like that. So on the side, we are going to work on that to be able to have those programs available for those folks that will be able to qualify. And
That's
I think
good.
that will help out. We're just trying to bring everybody together. So what we're envisioning is having like one day a month when they show up in one place, and those that are looking for assistance, they can go and visit, right? They can visit the different partnerships, the different agencies that are there to help out. What you were mentioning a little while ago, those are actually managed through ACOG. And
Okay.
it's through grant money that actually comes in. So, and they're one of the people that have actually volunteered to help us out with trying to bring some of those programs.
So
down here.
that's great information, because I don't want our citizens to think that here we are, we're just raising rates. We're raising the taxes. We're going to raise this. We're giving something back. We're looking.
Yeah, and
in
I
the
don't
future.
think you'll ever have anyone by the show of people here today that our rates are too high. That's a good thing, right?
Right.
But I can tell you, we had the CARES Act money, and we opened up for small business loans, and we're using that money for that, helping pay utility bills, stuff like that.
Very few
We
people
almost
apply.
couldn't give the money away, sir. We had to bring it. We had it out there. We tried twice for small business, had absolutely zero response on that. So we wound up putting it on another project. And then utility bills, it was so few, and the ones that weren't paying them didn't pay because they knew they could just wait and pay it later, kind of thing.
Even
So
with
we
the
tried.
situation right now, Michael, I think we've had maybe 4 that we worked payment plans out on. So the hardships are not really showing the way that I even thought they would. And I think we only had 1 not pay, and I think she paid last week. So, yeah.
We don't
Okay.
have very many in the city. Outside our jurisdiction, in other providers areas for water, sewer, stuff like that, I think there's more. But within our jurisdiction that we can control, we don't have very many, which is good. But
And we very much work with them. If we had a lady come in, we offered her 3 or 4 months payment plan, and she's like, no, I just need 2 weeks. So I mean, we are very, very lenient and work with them now.
Good, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
offsetting different programs out there kind of help, especially for our elderly, to try to help out. And some of these organizations are willing to help. So we just need to, as we go through the community center, the usage and the charges and all that, we get all that settled down. We'll figure out a game plan so then we can reserve the dates and then we can make it a permanent thing to be able to help
That
out.
would be
So
good.
maybe do something monthly, not to where, hey, today it's these people, tomorrow
No.
it's these people.
Every-
One day,
One day.
one big center, big round table, they can all come in and
They
do
can
what you
come
need.
in and walk around and they can get, whatever it is that they need to do. I didn't realize, Medina County recently picked up the WIC for Atascosa, the responsibility. I didn't realize that around our area, they actually take care of 400.
Of
Yeah,
San Antonio.
Mothers.
Of Lido,
yeah,
really.
400.
That's
In
interesting.
the Lido, it's not the Lido city limits, it's the Lido zip code.
Right.
That's pretty big for our
That's a
little area.
substantial number.
But they actually help out. But they provide, some of them are the overall services, some are small services, but they provide the overall. And that's one of the reasons that they want to continue coming here. They used to park right outside here. Now we're helping them out with one place because it gets really hot in the bus. But that's the reason why we're looking at opportunities like that. So,
Good.
but good questions. Good questions.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions on those utilities there before we get into inspection rates? Okay. So inspection rates. Currently, our inspection fee is $50 per inspection. 100% of that fee is paid straight to the city inspector, the independent contractor. We do not recover any of the administrative costs associated with coordinating or keeping track of our records on that. So on average, a new home, I'm going to use Saddle Ridge for an example because they're really the only one we've got building a new home on a regular basis. I averaged out about 12 inspections per new home, so that'd be $600. We pay that straight to the inspectors when they're done. Administratively, I've estimated, talking with Paul, and the time used, about $240 per new home, roughly. That's none of the ancillary costs or anything else on top of that. It's just hard numbers for that employee doing the work. So that total cost is $840. So we're losing that $240 every time. So my proposal would be we take it to $100 per inspection. So the average cost then to pull a permit to build a home in Saddle Ridge would run about $1,200. So comparison wise, it's harder to find these because a lot of the cities around us use a third party company to do all their inspections. So Cashville's growing leaps and bounds. They use a third party vendor that does all their inspections for them. So the city doesn't even get involved in that from what I can gather. You email that company and you coordinate your inspections with them. So I found Helotes and their information on their website. I did an average of the current home models in Saddle Ridge, and it came out to about 1,762 square foot home. So in Helotes, to build over there, it would cost you $1,656.28. I say it would cost you here about $1,200. Again, we're lower than what the norm is in a general area around us. I would imagine if we go into Castroville and Devine, the cities that use these third-party vendors, we're going to be a lot lower. So that $50 would go then, or the $50 inspection would go to the inspector. The other $50 comes into the city and helps cover our cost for not only the actual person doing the work, paper, pen, electricity, computer, that kind of thing. Everything has a cost to it. So that'd be my proposed deal there. Garbage rates. I'm going to briefly cover this and then we'll get the contract out and kind of talk about some stuff on that. Oh, here, real quick before I go on. TML. You can get on their website and pull up water and sewer studies. They're not 100%. They're only as good as what cities will submit to that and give you their records. So looking at the water, one of the closest ones I could find is San Saba. They have a population of 3,168. They have 1,372 customers, which is fairly close to us. Now, theirs is going to be a little different because they use that 5,000 gallon range. Remember that we were using 3,000, but their rate would be $35.61 for water. we were looking in the 20 range. And then on their wastewater, they were run 3511. So again, you can see on a statewide database, and that was it. I didn't find anyone. The lowest one here is $19.55 for water. And the lowest one for wastewater is $19. So you can see those are the very low end people. So we're right in line where we need to be. So our current garbage rates. Now keep in mind, we're going to have a couple rates here we're going to talk about, but you got a monthly bulk pickup is what we do currently. So for the 96-gallon cart, it costs you $18.31 for waste management. The city tax on $5.57 for a total cost of $23.88. If you want the extra cart at your house, it's $5 from waste management. The city tax on 19 cents, $5.19. That's what you're currently paying for. And the new rate, the new contract they're proposing, we're going to talk about rates first. If we stayed on the monthly pickup, that 96-gallon cart would go from $18.31 from waste management to $22.27. And then the city, before we were tacking on $5.57, I just said, let's tack on $5.50, right? Cover our cost. So $27.77. So you can see it's a pretty good difference there from $23.88 to $27.77. The extra cart went up from $5 to $8.55 from them. I didn't go up much on the city side. I went up just to 20 cents to make it even, to give it $8.75. The extra thing Waste Management is proposing, though, in this new contract is hazardous waste, household hazardous waste. For an extra $1.25 a month, they will pick up household hazardous waste, VCRs, TVs, stuff like that you can't just go throw in a landfill, gas, paint cans, things like that. And they'll be here to talk more about that at our next council meeting. They can explain more of that in detail to you. The other option to keep our rates a little more in line with where they were, if we went to quarterly bulk pickup. So every quarter we do bulk pickup. We do it monthly now, and we have some that put it out there, but it's not widespread. So if we could go to quarterly and then offset that from when we do the Keep Lytle Beautiful, it'd still stay pretty close to where we are today. So if we went to quarterly, we don't see much of an increase. Overall, it's 2019 and $5.50. So we would go from $23.88 to $25.69. The cart, though, does change. I mean, they're going to stay the same price, $8.55 and then 20 cents. So that stays at $8.75. And then the household hazardous waste at $1.25. So comparison-wise, in Divine, they're going to charge you for that 96-gallon tote $26.07. The extra cart is $11.17, but you only get twice a year bulk pickup. In Natalia, that cart is $22.75. The extra cart's $9.50. I couldn't find anywhere in there where they said they did bulk pickup on their website or in their ordinances. And then the city of Jourdanton, they charge $20.15 for that cart. Extra cart is $9.50. And again, they do twice a year bulk pickup. So we're going to get quarterly, and we're still going to stay really close to where they were if we stayed with quarterly at $25.69. And then we're going to be right in line with where everybody else is. But again, we're adding 2 extra pickups for that bulk pickup, and that's at your house. That's not bring it somewhere else. That's going to be in front of your house if you meet the requirements for bulk pickup. They have several things in that new contract. They want to do the exclusivity agreement, which is basically, currently they have an exclusivity agreement on just residential. If you're a residential customer, you have to use Waste Management. We've said that is our provider. You have to use it. If you have a dumpster and you're commercial, you can choose your vendor. I can tell you, I drove to town today. I don't think I saw anybody other than Waste Management at a commercial location, which is good. So they want to do that. They also proposed doing an exclusivity agreement on what they called a temporary construction type dumpster. So if you were going to do something at your house, or you were building something and you just needed a dumpster for a month or two, currently you can use whoever you want. You can shop your price, get your best rate. Waste Management is proposing that they also be that sole provider, but they're not sold on that. I think in the contract we can look at different things. I don't have an issue with the sole provider for residential, sole provider for commercial, and then on the commercial side we add a franchise to it. Cashville uses 10 cents or 10% for a franchise agreement. We could do that, then we would get that franchise agreement money from them. They are also proposing that they take over the commercial billing. So currently we do commercial billing. It's a lot of work and can be a headache for Virginia. She does that. They're set up to do it. They do all the billing, all the collections, and then they send us our portion in the franchise.
Only for commercial, not for
Only on for
residential?
commercial. We would keep the residential. We're set up. We need to keep the residential. Some of the other changes here. I emailed about the pink tag, sir. I didn't get a response back on that.
Is that cost absorbed with sales tax fund?
I don't know on that one.
So, so while Matt is looking at, I think, that hazardous waste pickup is a big thing.
Very
You know,
good.
we've talked to a few residents and asked for their feedback because those are the things, the challenges that they have. They have to go to San Antonio if they got some paint, that they want to get rid of. Things that normally you would think that we would be able to take care of, and we don't want them just to throw them in the trash. So it gives us the opportunity.
TV and electronics, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Where do you get rid of
The city has copiers we can't even get rid of right now, and we could use. So
And they will come, you coordinate, and they come to your house. It's not like you
How
have
many,
to take
how
them
many
somewhere.
times will they come? I didn't see. that
eligible
on the list
items.
today.
So eligible items up to 1 TV, 4 vehicle batteries, 5 fluorescent bulbs, and a compact fluorescent lamp. 1 computer consisting of each CPU tower, laptop, monitor, keyboard, mouse, and desktop. Up to 25 pounds of consumer electronics. But it was unlimited. I think once you have it, I'm pretty sure he'll be here to talk on that. So I don't want to, but I'm almost certain we talked to him. It was house orders at your door. Yeah, it was unlimited. You could call them again and schedule it and get them.
I have 2 big TVs.
So if they would only take one, you call them. I got one ready. They come get it.
Next week, call them
They
again.
call them. I'm ready. I got another one. Or the next day, call. Yeah,
So
it was unlimited.
So for comparison with that, we do have a waste place over off of 471 there, Lacoste. So the TV is $25 every time you dump it. I don't care what size
Mhm.
it is.
Oh, well, there you go. So already we're going to be saving.
A tire is $20.
So what's 125 times 12?
Yeah.
What's that?
Less than.
It's $25 per TV.
1.25
to get rid of
times 12. That's $15.
Yeah.
So, and they'll come straight to your door.
Yeah, they come to your door.
The only thing is we'll have to check. For some reason, I might have heard it or read it somewhere, but I think they need to have like so many people. So,
Yeah.
so they might. You remember that? I think that's what So they might have where they'll take the calls. Okay, what do you got? How much? And they'll add it up. And once they have like 5 people to pick up, okay, we'll go out there and pick. But they have to pick it up within like 2 weeks. Is
They told us that when we had a meeting in here 2-3 months ago.
that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
He told us about it.
So we can work with them. When
Yeah.
he'll be able to answer all those questions.
But still,
Because
that's a
that's
pretty
still
good
pretty
deal. I
good,
mean,
yeah.
within 2 weeks, you coordinate.
I've had these TVs in my garage for about a year.
So-
I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
a month or
Matt,
so.
did they ever? I don't think they said they would take tires. So I think
I didn't see tires on the list, but we've got we've been able to identify places that you can take tires.
so. That's
Depending on where you live
probably
in the
that's
city.
probably what we'll probably need to do with all these places that don't have is maybe have like a handout that we can give customers and say, hey, if you want to take tires, I know Medina, it comes in waves. If you're a Medina County resident, they might have the trailer in one of the cities. I know they helped us out that one time, but we had to take the tires all the way to Hondo. But that was one of the
So
ways that we got rid
Our
of.
code compliance has already got that because he tells me all the time he gives people those handouts or that information. So
Good. Good.
another thing in this contract and the new one, the last contract was for a 3-year term. They're asking for a 5-year term. And then, of course, every year on the renewal date, every year when this contract resets for that year is when they would do their price adjustments for CPI, fuel, that kind of thing. That's where your rates could change yearly. It's just off of that actual known cost to them or what's costed. So I'm not 100% sold on that. I don't know if we want to enter into a 5-year agreement or just do another 3-year, which is what we've always kind of done. I don't think we've done a 5-year. Residential door to truck service. So currently we have that in the city and there's no limit to it. If you get signed up on the program, the driver will stop at your house and you're on his list. He goes up to your door. It's within so many feet. It's within, I forget what it was, but he'll grab your cart, roll out to the road, dump it, and take the cart back to your house. That's unlimited. They want to cap that at 20 now. So I asked today how many we have to take. Yeah, one person does that in our city. 20 is not a big deal. I was concerned when I saw 20 and the other one wasn't. So I asked, and so nothing issued there.
The only thing with Matt is just if you know, and I brought this up before, if you know a resident that, I'll give an example of one that I asked to contact over here. I don't know whether or not they did, but they were going through chemo treatment, very weak, going through a rough period of time. Those are the ones that we need to be able to funnel the information forward and see if maybe they can help us out, even if it's for a temporary,
Yep.
'cause
And that's what it's designed for. Let's work, for sure. A lot of it's education. We're going to work with them on getting education material out to our residents, putting it on our board. Apparently that wasn't something we were very inclined to do prior, but under our regime, it will be. Trying to touch just on highlights here. If there's, just like at the other one, if there's a holiday, it's the next working day where they pick up complaints. So currently, if you have a complaint about your garbage pickup, you call here, you get with Virginia or one of the girls if she's out, they take your complaint. They then call Waste Management because there's really nothing we can do about it. We call Waste Management, transfer it to their complaint people, and then they coordinate with the resident how to fix it, kind of thing. Hopefully that path stayed correct in whatever that message was all the way across. So what we're looking at is Waste Management would take over our complaints. They have a complete process on how they handle them. That would be their complaint number. You call them. Their operators are trained to understand and handle those complaints. The lines are recorded. Every single phone line is recorded. Every conversation is recorded. And then monthly, they would supply or furnish the city with a report on what complaints they received, how they were addressed, and how they were handled. Now, let's say Alderman Rodriguez called in and complained, and it didn't get fixed. But yet Waste Management in their report said it got fixed right there. We told you it got fixed. Then we request a copy of the audio of the conversation, and then we listen to it. And because again, we're the provider that provides or gives the garbage collection in the city. We just contract it out to somebody else. So ultimately, it's still our responsibility to make sure our customers are happy. So that would be my thing. And I don't have a problem if the city wants me being that point of contact to kind of thumb through those and handle those for the city as they come in and work with Waste Management on, hey, we got this complaint. I see they complained. Your report said you handled it. It wasn't satisfactory. How do we fix this in the future moving forward?
Well, I did call and I did get it for.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't actually say you. Sorry, I just picked you.
But I did get poor service. So my concern would be that it become kind of automated type system. Whereas if they call the city, but I don't really
So
think
the
the city
second
should be
week of the
doing
month,
that.
no, the second week of the
complaints.
month, the phone never stops.
Yeah.
They
Virginia
call
stays very-
it. They will call if they can't get Virginia, then they go. It'll end up at my desk. What happens is then we ask them for a picture of what was not picked up. Usually Skip gets involved.
Yeah, I don't see
I
where the
would
city
say-
should be doing that.
I don't-
It should
yeah.
be going.
And so looking forward is how can we keep our workforce down, like be more streamlined on how we do stuff. As we continue to grow, those complaints may just increase. And we may have a person that's just fielding those complaints all day versus now, if we didn't have to field those and we just had to spot check them to ensure they were being answered, well, that employee that was doing it can now help work in that water department and keep our radio read meter system at. That's what we're going to stay extremely busy over the next few years in permits with Paula and the radio read system with Virginia, the one who currently handles all the waste management stuff.
I can tell you that like half of them last week were because Waste Management was late. Remember?
Right.
So if they are a couple of hours late, this phone will go crazy.
Yeah.
Because why did they pick up? They forgot my trash. And so it was a repeat, we're sorry, they're on their way. They'll be there in a couple of hours. We're in, but it's that they get really upset if they're late.
I think that's a good direction to go straight to them first, and then if can't get resolved, the citizens can always call
come
the
to us
office.
and then we can request everything and then we do our investigation.
Come to
And then,
media.
And we have a lot of issues like with bulk pickup, but they're trying to put stuff out there, which Matt's trying to alleviate with the problem, but it's bulk pickup and stuff that can't be picked up.
it doesn't meet the definitions of what our contract says is
Right.
bulk pickup.
So those are the two issues we have, late pickups and then questionable bulk pickup. Those are the
Yeah.
two big ones that the phone never stops the second week of the month.
So this hazardous, was it all or nothing? Is it all the citizens participate
Yes,
or?
yes, it is an all or
Okay.
nothing. Yeah, that's the only way we can do that.
Yeah, great.
Billing, we talked about that. We would keep, if we wanted, we could keep the residential billing. They would take over everything else on the commercial side. We could add that franchise.
One unique thing I do want to mention because we learned. Luckily, we didn't have to worry about it, but it was interesting to go into the contract that in case of a disaster, they're not obligated to actually pick up the trash.
That would be extra on top of. We could
Yeah.
enter into a separate contract with them for our pickup based off of a disaster. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the same with our
So,
brush pickup.
yep.
We pay monthly for brush pickup, but if we had a major storm come through that knocked a bunch of trees down, our contractor would say, whoa, hold on, that's not part of my contract. Let's negotiate for the extra. So that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Under their CPI adjustments, there's two distinctions. So if they use a diesel truck, they use the 90-10 rule, and he can explain more of that here. And if they use the CNG truck, which is what they use, I think most of the time here, it's an 80-20 rule. He can explain what most of that is, I guess. Let's see what else. I highlighted several of the higher end things. I don't see much. And y'all all got this, correct? I thought I sent it out. Okay, we'll fix the address. So special terms and conditions. The Keep Lytle Beautiful, they were providing us with some dumpsters and stuff free of charge. They didn't really charge us. They just did it, but there was nothing in our contract about it. The new contract will state we get 16 in-kind 40-yard roll-offs annually. So they equate that to four community cleanup events with 4 40-yard dumpsters. So if we can gear that perfectly with when our bulk pickup is, you still have bulk pickup. You just may, on that one time, you may have to drive it to another location. But a 40-yard dumpster, I mean, we fill those up. We can get a lot of stuff done and really keep our town beautiful. And then the other one they threw in here is a $5,000 annual donation. That's something that wasn't in our contracts before. That's something they're throwing in no matter what. And the good thing is, it's in here. So if they come back and say, no, well, we can't afford to. $5,000. It says right there, you got to give it.
We get to say what it's earmarked for.
We could do, it's any kind of, so which it says contractor will donate a total of $5,000, which will be awarded to local charitable organizations or annual community events. If any of the scheduled events are not held for any reason during the calendar year for which the contractor has made the payment, the contractor's payment will be applied to the next year in which the above listed items. So I can already think of one that we'll use that $5,000 every year, a fireworks show.
Yep.
You know, we're spending 10-ish, you know, somewhere in there. But even if we couldn't figure out what else to use it on or another community event, but we do a fireworks show annually, we do the hayride annually, we do, I'm assuming we're going to keep the Easter egg hunt annually, but the fireworks show is probably our biggest ticketed item and where we get the most bang for your buck.
The only
So-
thing, and we need to double check, but I think the only thing is just give them a little bit of the promo. Not that they were part of the event.
We can do it,
That was the only requirement that they had, you know. And this, by the way, this came out of discussions when we were talking about different events. We were talking about keeping Lytle beautiful, where we could find some money or be able to get. And they volunteered and said, hey, we can help out, but we need to put it in the contract. It was never in the contract.
We can ask them for some banners of some sort to put in
They-
various
so-
places.
Their promotions department will supply us with anything we want.
Good.
So I told him we can throw stuff on the website. They'll design it. We just upload it, kind of thing, right? I mean, but all the graphics, everything we need, it'll be done by them. It's just us clicking to upload it. Our digital sign out here, we put stuff up, and a lot of our issues for bulk is coming from just education.
Mm.
The people weren't educated. If you told me bulk, I would say my fence blew down. That's bulk. Unfortunately, in the contract, that's not bulk. That's construction debris. So
Matt, do you want to go ahead and cover the recycle, the size of the?
Oh yes, yeah. So currently we use in-kind services. They're going to also provide to the city a dumpster for the recycling. We currently use a 20-yard roll off, but they only pick it by contract. They'll only pick it up for free once a month. We're probably into that twice a month because more people are using it, which is good. So we're going to increase that to a 30-yard dumpster to give us a little more height and some more room on it. See how that works. Locations for dumpsters, we're going to keep 2 dumpsters at Public Works, 2 8-yard dumpsters at Public Works. Animal Control is going to keep the one. Somehow they got 2 4-yard dumpsters, but they only need one. So they got 1 4-yard dumpster with a lock bar on it so people can't throw trash in it. We're going to add one to the public library, a 2-yard there with a lock bar on it. And we're going to add one up at the community center, a 2-yard. All of those would be picked up twice a week, except for the community center. That'll be once a week because we typically don't have more than one event a week if we ever, so I don't think if they're doing the in-kind service, I don't need them out here twice a week picking up an empty dumpster. But that would alleviate some of the problems we've had at the community center with not having a place to throw away trash for the people. And on the new program we're working on, we're capturing a cost.
Yeah, the people using it and the people.
And then we got a lock bar so people can just go dump their trash in it. That key, the lock bar key would go out with the community center key. So then that resident could open it, whoever's renting it. The library, they've got cleanup days where you got to throw away old books and old stuff like that. No reason to set it out. And then somebody, a public works guy at the parks, they got to go pick the trash up. And then if we can get a truck in there and get a dumpster, just get them a dumpster and throw stuff away. The only location we're not putting one is here at City Hall. Several reasons. It's unsightly at your City Hall. And just geographic of getting a truck in here, backing you back out and all that hassle. On the city side, on the carts, we would continue with EMS having a cart. Fire department has 2 carts, and those are carts that we provide for free of charge. And Waste Management picks them up as part of our residential program. Any commercial business that cannot fit a dumpster because they just can't get a truck to it, they have the 96-gallon totes. Those would be considered commercial, though, and go over to Waste Management. So just because you have the cart doesn't mean you're residential and we're billing you. We're only billing residential if that's what we choose to do. Everything else would go commercial to them, whether you have a cart or dumpsters. The good thing is a lot of our bigger vendors like HEB, they already have contracts with Waste Management to be their provider for their compactors, everything.
Explain something to me on recycling. I heard through the grapevine that boxes are bundled up, that they're only allowed to be taken one Tuesday a month between 8 and 12 o'clock.
So yeah, we do our Wayne sets up. Is it a Tuesday or Wednesdays?
So Wednesdays.
I thought it was
Wednesday
Tuesday, but
morning.
it may-
I think it's
it may
Wednesday
be a
mornings.
different
Wayne
day.
sets up over at the location where the roll off is, and that's when it's open. We do once a week drop off.
And weekends.
Yeah, we do every other Saturday for 8 to noon
For that same item.
for for recyclables. You take them over there. They cannot be bagged. We have to verify that you're a resident of the city. Typically, they want to see a utility bill that shows because we're billing you, and then we can put those, if they meet the qualification, we put them into that recycled dumpster. I got to work with him because we've had some dumpsters that were contaminated. They weren't 100% recycled, or what's allowed to be in there is recycled.
So what happens when that happens?
So if it's over a certain percentage, they get diverted from the recycle facility to the landfill, and then we get a bill.
So recycling is every Wednesday and every Wednesday and the first and third Saturday. So every Wednesday, every week, and then the first and third Saturday from 8 to 12, except on holidays.
And the reason we did it that way is because it is a free service.
Right.
Our residents aren't paying for it. Waste Management said, we'll do it. Let's do it. The other option would be they charge another fee and we get a second 96-gallon totage. Like at my house, I've got 2. I got one for trash, one for recycling. Our recycling isn't always full, but I pay monthly for them or weekly for them to come pick it up.
Yes.
But it's just a better way to try to keep stuff out of the landfill, and it's worked out, and they're doing it free of charge. So we're able to get, so those who want recycling can have it. Those who choose not to, you can just keep throwing it away.
And it's actually out of the ones here. I mean, some of the other communities around here have put them out. It hasn't really worked out as good as it has with us. I think by having some sort of control and monitoring, you know what's going in there.
Ours worked really well, and that's why we're having to increase the dumpster size because it's working really well.
And the frequency
Mhm.
under the new contract.
The frequency stays the same.
But there was going to be twice.
No, once a month they pick up that roll off.
Oh, okay.
But we're
So-
going to go from a 20 to 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
they
So
increased the
currently under
size.
the
Okay.
20,
Yeah.
we're averaging twice a month. Our contract says once a month for free, and they bill us for all the extra. So I'm sure thank God they haven't. I guess somebody's not doing.
Mhm.
So we're going to go to a larger dumpster or roll off. So hopefully we can get back to
Back to
that
once a month.
Once
Oh,
once
okay.
a month.
Okay.
That way we can stay within our contract and we're not getting extra bills for it.
Okay.
But it's doing good. It's good. It's bueno.
Any other questions? Like I said, they'll be here. We can't make any decisions, but they'll be here. I'll let Chris know that we're going to have it on the agenda for the next Monday council meeting. If he wants to, he'll come in and talk to you. I'm hoping to also have the CPS O&M on that one. They went up slightly on the O&M contract. They were charging us $100,000 a year to be our O&M provider. They initially asked for $200,000, which would never work. We couldn't. Thank God. I don't know if it's just luck of Mr. Emery being there on that one, but no negotiations. No, I think they saw our faces, the mayor and I's faces, when they said that first number, because we're like, oh no, and immediately started writing notes to each other. But no questions asked. They reduced it back down to 116. And again, the 200, they're doing just like us. They're just trying to recover their cost, but they understand that from one year to the next, doing that big of a jump because they didn't do due diligence over the last 12, 14 years of raising it slowly. You know, you can't sticker shock people like that. And that's what I'm trying to do with the rates. Not sticker shock you where we probably should be, but where we can get and make it work. And that would be my goal. My overall goal is to keep our utility rates and our taxes at a lower rate than anybody else around us, but enough that just keeps us working and moving in the right direction.
We got to
and
cover our
providing service.
costs.
I mean, 21% of $12 is a lot less than 21% of $30.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of going in our favor right now.
And based on the capital improvements that we have to have done, we don't have a choice. If the city's growing, this is mandatory.
Yeah, and this is just enough so we can make our payments and get out of that, and then that enough we need to stay where we are and moving in the right direction. So
Matt, look at, on the second page, paragraph 1.05.
Uh-huh.
You just need to have them correct that sentence. It just stops. There's nothing at the end of the sentence.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, see, I highlighted, but I didn't catch
Tied
that.
together forming and something.
So I don't know if you saw that too. So we've always had the ability to throw away brush in your trash if you would bundle it correctly. And the last contract called for a 4 foot in length by 6 inches in diameter and bundle it and secure it. Then they would pick that up and throw it in the trash truck and compact it. The new agreement actually says now that it shall be placed in a brown yard trimmings bag. So, and then didn't we have an issue with leaf pickup, right?
Yes.
So bundles. I saw, where did I see leaves?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brown
I just
bag,
thought of that when you said that.
Brown bags or some other bag for leaves, I believe.
Well, we had asked from the previous one, we had asked if they wanted to use a clear bag,
Clear bag.
Mag, so they could tell that it was
Right.
leaves.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
They came back and said that they don't.
And they have to be the approved brown bags.
Well, there's an option, a brown bag or something else. I read it this morning.
Okay. I'll have to find that
But it
there
has
again,
to
but
be
I remember
their
seeing
approved
it.
brown bags though.
Well, it's a brown paper bag. They're like a 3-ply paper bag. You get them at Lowe's.
Yeah. Those are the ones that come
Yeah, I
with, yeah.
think that's it, yeah.
Yep.
And then there's some other kind of plastic bag you can use.
We should be able to hopefully get, can't think of the name, but True Value to stock those.
Yeah, I can talk to the owners and ask them what it would take for them to start stocking it. So we could,
Yeah.
at least when
So
we're
that way our
making leaves,
citizens
they could,
have a local resource for it.
exactly, you're probably going to go buy it from you before they drive all the way to San Antonio and buy it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And buy something else in the process.
Yep, yes. Well,
That's
that's
the
why,
idea.
that's why the milk is in the back of the HEB. Milk and eggs are in the back
Absolutely,
of the
right?
HEB.
You know where you're going.
Yeah, yeah. They force you past all that
Gotta
other
go
stuff.
buy the Easter stuff and the Halloween stuff.
So it's only the problem.
That's the thing, is having the opportunity, because honestly, I think a lot of people here just prepare for the brush with Hector picking it up. That's the main thing. I don't think.
Continue with Hector picking up.
Yes, we will rebid that and just, yeah, that would be my goals. I don't plan on going backwards on any services we do.
Yeah.
And then,
They give a
Hector's
lot-
contract's good until February.
Yeah. and then of course, whatever that cost is, because it's not a lot of work in on our part, we just transfer that cost straight on to your garbage bill. So it's just enough for us to cover that.
It's just an offset completely.
So that would be the only other increase we may see is, if for some reason that changed drastically, I don't know. But we would all know it when we're looking at the contract. And then we can tell y'all what that would be per customer increase.
Well, you've said it, but we're gonna have to work closely with Waste Management to get all the educational material we can to educate the public. Because I think a lot of your complaints come from people just not knowing.
Yes, sir.
And this new service of picking up the TVs and old paint cans and whatever, that's a big deal. For $1.25 a month, people take advantage of that,
Mhm.
but they need to know about it and know exactly how it works.
I wish
We
we
will-
had that.
We will work with Waste Management, website, newsletter, digital billboard, whatever they want to provide us. I think they would actually print out and bring us everything, the stuff in with the utility bill to go out that, so we do so.
Right.
I told them, if you'll bring it to us, we'll put it in the mail to our residents, because the more we can get out to our residents, the better of a service they're going to be able to utilize it.
Door hangers would be nice too. I'll walk Lakeshore out there and
Yeah,
hand-
they've got
hand 'em out or
everything.
hang them on doors, yeah.
So what you see currently is their drivers have same thing, door hanger, cart hanger. But if they don't pick your stuff up or if something was happened, then they leave a note for you on your cart on
Mm.
why they didn't, or they're supposed to. But yeah, we'll work with them on getting any education material. And Chris, like I said, Chris will be here. So hopefully we'll have, it's weird because we have Chris and his wife. Chris is our waste management contact. His wife is our CPS energy contact.
Huh.
So that's kind of neat. So I don't know if we can get them both the same night. Maybe they can call it a date night and get a babysitter. I don't know. Date night at Lotto City Hall. You got Chief here for entertainment. So.
Yeah. We'll get them hooked up over at Outlaw or one or
Yeah.
or Railhead, one of the restaurants down there.
Yes, sir.
Be able to get something to eat.
So
All right.
if there's no other questions, our step moving forward then for me would be to present this at an agenda item for action. And then before the rates can go active or go online is our own ordinances, not by state law, but by our own ordinances. Years ago, they enacted something that says we have to notify our residents 30 days, give them a 30-day notice before we can make them active. So we would, if let's say September 15th is our meeting? 12th. The 15th would be the publication to the paper, and we would have to publish it in the paper for 30 days, send stuff out to them, to our residents, put it on our website, on our billboard of new rates taking effect. And then after that, we can go. So if it worked, we might miss the first billing cycle in the new fiscal year, but that's not going to make a difference.
It'll be good.
We just need to get it in place.
Yeah. And then like I said, over the next budget year, we'll have an actual rate study done for our water and sewer system. We can bring those numbers, and then that will give us knowledge moving forward in the following budget years on how if we want to move it up slowly every year, cap it at whatever we want to do.
Tier.
I would say, yeah, we probably need to look at a tiered system in a little bit every year to just bring us to where we need to be. I did see a lot of them where we do, residential. I don't know. One of the ones we don't bill commercial rate, like a weird commercial rate. I don't know which one. Let me go back here and check now. But I saw a lot of them did. Turn this clicker off. So sewer. Yeah. So all of ours, it's just, we have them broke down between residential and commercial, but we don't bill them differently. So a lot of them, when you're a commercial business, your rate's a little higher than your residential rate because you're a bigger impact possibly on our utility. So that may be something we look at too in the future moving forward. is, if we can keep our residential rates, which are typically our lower end users, at a more reasonable rate, or say lower than where we should be, but reasonable, and then our commercial rate take it to where it should be, because you're the ones out here making tons of money on the residents. Let's
I think
make sure
I
you're paying
think
your
probably personally maybe in the bigger gallons I could see that. I'd be a little bit careful with some of our small businesses.
But I should say, yeah, we can look
So-
at how we can stay with this, but
Yeah.
if we decide to use a residential and a commercial type system, because that's what I see a lot of the other utilities do.
Let's try to do that. Anything else, Michael? Anything?
No, looks good.
Home football game this week.
Oh, good. Who are they playing?
San Antonio City.
I'll get on their website and look and throw it on our billboard tomorrow.
Yeah, San Antonio City team.
Okay.
And if you want tickets, you have to buy them online. You cannot buy tickets to the game.
Okay. I'll find that website and throw it up here or figure it out and
Yeah,
get it on our billboard.
Ticket something.
Ticket
Use a
online.
credit card.
Great opportunity to go out there,
Awesome.
have some fun, and support our
Yep.
kids. Support the band.
Yeah, come to the visitors concession stand. Good sausage wraps. We make them.
There you go. There you go.
My wife and I run it.
Anything
Oh,
from the staff? Anything else want to communicate? Okay,
I
Matt.
think we're moving forward. It's going to be with these new inspection rates. We're going to switch over in the new budget year to an electronic system, which will help us tremendously on that and coordinating that.
It's nice that we're moving into the 21st.
I'll be good.
Yeah. We just for me looking at some things this morning, I saw some things that I already want to make some changes to on how we issue a number. Yeah, I don't know, just internally for me, I think would help us better, and then our actual permit form, what it needs to have on it for final tracking to
Yeah.
know one location. I don't need to go to 5 different locations to see if this one permit has got a final and it's passed everything. We should go to one form and find everything we need.
Well, Matt, thank you. Great job.
Yeah.
Appreciate putting
Also
all this
wanna-
stuff together.
Do a shout out on these mics. Looking at the simulcast, it's with minor hiccups. I mean, every once in a while you'll see the podium have a audible issue, but overall it's a lot easier to watch.
And so, well, I'm
These
glad
areas.
Alderman Morrow showed us the camera to buy, and it had the plugs we needed for these mics to work. And then now I'm running with the actual area mic on as well. So I'm hoping between the area mic and these mics here, we're capturing most of the audio in here, and it's better for our
Thank
people
you.
watching.
Kudos. It's really helped a lot. It's real good.
It's bueno. Well, with that in mind, it's 7:39. We'll go ahead and close out our workshop. Thank you so much. Appreciate your attendance. Have a great evening and kind of watch out for a little bit more rainwater in the next